Everything you've been told about success is a lie. Work hard, sacrifice now, build your empire, provide for your family, sleep when you're dead. The grind never stops. Winners make excuses, champions make moves. You've heard it all, haven't you? Maybe you're living it right now? Let me tell you what that advice actually gets you. I'm 88 years old. I followed every single rule. I worked 16 hours a day for 45 years straight. I built a $1.7 billion fortune. I own properties on 3 continents I've never slept in. Forbes called me a titan. The Wall Street Journal wrote my biography. And 3 weeks ago, my cardiologist told me I have maybe 2 years left if I'm lucky. You want to know the truth? The thing that keeps me awake at night, the 4 hours I can actually sleep now that my body's failing, it's not the money I'm leaving behind. It's my daughter's voice. I haven't heard it in 11 years. She doesn't return my calls, and I earned that silence. I bought it with 16-hour days for 45 years straight. I traded her childhood for conference calls, her wedding for a merger, my grandson's first steps for a keynote speech in Singapore. And here's what nobody tells you when you're climbing. The view from the top is just you, alone, with a lot of expensive things that can't hug you back. If you're watching this and you're sacrificing your life for your career right now, stop. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to warn you, because I was you, and I can't get it back. None of it. Let me tell you about the morning everything shattered. It was a Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. I remember because it was the day I was supposed to close a $400 million acquisition, the biggest deal of my career, my legacy deal. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. like I had for 40 years, 6 hours of sleep, every single night, sometimes 5. My doctors had been warning me for 2 decades. Sleep deprivation, they said. Stress, they said. Your cortisol levels are dangerous, they said. I didn't listen. Sleep was for people who weren't serious. Rest was for retirement. I was in my home office by 5 a.m., third coffee in hand, when my chest started to tighten. At first I thought it was heartburn. Then my left arm went numb. The room tilted. I tried to stand up and my legs just gave out. I collapsed face first into my desk. Massive heart attack. The kind where they tell your family to say goodbye. I woke up 4 days later in a hospital bed, tubes coming out of everywhere, and the first thing I saw was my ex-wife. She looked older, tired. She was holding my hand, the same hand I'd pulled away from hers 1,000 times because I had just one more email. She said, "The kids are on their way." And I felt this relief, right? Like, okay, they're coming, they still care. But then she said something that broke me in a way the heart attack couldn't. She said, "They're coming to see if you're going to die, not to see you." And that's when I understood. The room they were walking into wasn't a reunion. It was an obligation, a formality. They weren't losing a father. They were waiting to inherit from a stranger who happened to share their DNA. My son showed up the next day. We hadn't spoken in 7 years. He stood at the foot of my bed, arms crossed, and said, "I'm here because Mom asked me to be. Don't expect anything else." He left after 12 minutes. My daughter never came. You want to know how it happens? How you become the villain in your own story? It's not one big decision. It's 1,000 tiny ones. It's saying, "Not now," when your kid asks you to play catch. It's missing the school play because there's a client dinner. It's working through Christmas morning because the Tokyo office is open and you can get ahead. I didn't set out to be a bad father. I set out to be successful, to provide, to build something that mattered. I believed the lie, the one they sell you in business school, in boardrooms, in every success biography you've ever read. Sacrifice now, enjoy later. Build the empire first. The family will understand. They'll be proud. You're doing this for them. Except you're not. You're doing it for the scoreboard, for the title, for the moment someone Googles your name and sees you matter. You're doing it because somewhere deep down, you believed that achievement equals worth. That if you build something big enough, impressive enough, valuable enough, then you become valuable. I spent 60 years trying to earn my place at the table, and I forgot that the people who actually loved me already gave me a seat. Here's what happens when you work 16 hours a day for 45 years. You stop sleeping well. Your body goes into permanent survival mode. Your cortisol stays elevated. Your immune system weakens. Your heart starts working overtime just to keep you upright. 6 hours of sleep every night for decades. I thought I was being disciplined. I was actually slowly killing myself. But the physical deterioration, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the slow erosion of everything that makes life worth living. You become a ghost in your own home. You're there, but you're not there. Your mind is always 3 time zones away. Your kids learn to stop asking you questions because you give them distracted half answers. Your wife stops trying to connect with you because it hurts too much to be ignored. And you tell yourself it's temporary, just this quarter, just this year, just until the company goes public, just until I hit my number. But there is no number. The finish line keeps moving. Because here's the secret they don't tell you. Success is not a destination. It's a treadmill, and the faster you run, the faster it goes. I made my first million at 32. I thought, okay, now I can relax. But then it was 10 million, then 50, then 100, then the first billion. And you know what changed? Nothing. I was still terrified, still inadequate, still running. The only difference was my kids stopped recognizing me. Let me tell you about the trip to Yellowstone. My son was 9 years old. He had been talking about this camping trip for 6 months. He had a little notebook where he'd drawn pictures of bears and geysers. He made a countdown calendar. I promised him I'd go. I swore it. 2 days before we were supposed to leave, I got a call about a factory issue in Germany. A supplier was threatening to walk. It was a crisis. It needed me. I told my son we'd go next summer. He cried. I watched his face crumble. 9 years old, standing in our kitchen, holding his little backpack, and I watched him learn that Daddy's promises don't mean anything. We never went to Yellowstone. He's 46 now. He lives in Colorado with his wife and 2 kids I've met exactly twice. He works as a park ranger. He chose to spend his life in the places I never had time to visit. Here's another one. My daughter's piano recital. She was 14. She'd been practicing Chopin for 8 months. She told me a week in advance. She reminded me 3 times. The day of the recital, I was in a board meeting that ran long. I told myself I'd leave early. I'd slip out. I'd make it. I didn't leave early. I got there 10 minutes after it ended. I walked into the auditorium and saw her standing alone by the piano, still in her dress, packing up her sheet music while all the other parents took pictures with their kids. She saw me walk in. She didn't wave, didn't smile. She just looked at me, and then she looked away. She never invited me to another recital. She quit piano 6 months later. She's 43 now. She's a music teacher. She spends her days giving other people's children the attention I never gave her. And my wife, God, my wife, she used to wait up for me every night. No matter how late I came home, she'd be there in the kitchen with a cup of tea and a plate of food she'd kept warm. She'd ask me about my day. She'd tell me about hers. She'd try to connect, and I'd give her 7 minutes, maybe 10 if I wasn't too tired. Then I'd go upstairs and answer emails until I passed out. She stopped waiting up after year 15. She stopped asking about my day after year 20. She filed for divorce after year 28. At the mediation, her lawyer read a statement she'd written. It said, "I didn't leave because he was cruel. I left because he was absent. And absence is its own kind of cruelty." She remarried 5 years ago, a retired teacher. They travel, they cook together, they take walks. I see pictures on Facebook sometimes. She looks happy, really, genuinely happy. And I'm glad for her, I am. But it breaks me every time, because I could have had that, we could have had that. I just chose spreadsheets instead. So here's what I need you to hear. If you're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week right now, thinking you're building something important, you are, but you're also destroying something irreplaceable. Your kids don't need a bigger house. They need you at the dinner table. Your spouse doesn't need a luxury vacation twice a year. They need you present on a Tuesday night. Your parents don't need your success story. They need your voice on the phone. Stop trying to impress people who don't actually care about you. Your boss will replace you in 2 weeks if you drop dead tomorrow. The company you're killing yourself for will have your job posted before your funeral is over, but your daughter will spend the rest of her life wondering why she wasn't enough to make you stay. Your son will carry the weight of your absence into every relationship he ever has. Your spouse will learn to live without you while you're still alive. And one day, when you finally decide you're ready to slow down, you'll look around and realize everyone already left. Here's what I do now with the time I have left. I wake up and I sit on my balcony and I watch the sunrise. Not because it's productive, because it's beautiful. And I missed 61,000 sunrises because I was too busy. I call my son every Sunday. He doesn't always answer, but I call. I leave voicemails. I tell him I'm sorry. I tell him I love him. I tell him things I should have said 30 years ago. I write letters to my daughter. She doesn't read them. I know because they come back unopened, but I write them anyway because it's the only way I know how to say I see what I did, and I'd give everything to undo it. I volunteer at a children's hospital twice a week. I read stories to kids whose parents are too busy working, and I think about the irony every single time. I sleep 8 hours now, doctor's orders. My body's too broken to run on fumes anymore. And you know what I've realized? 8 hours of sleep doesn't make you less successful. It makes you human. Rest doesn't make you weak. It makes you sustainable. Presence doesn't make you unambitious. It makes you whole. I have $1.7 billion. I would trade every cent of it, every single cent, for one more day when my kids were small and still thought I was a hero. For one more morning where my wife smiled at me like she did before I taught her not to expect anything. For one more chance to choose the camping trip over the conference call. I can't buy that back. No amount of money can. But you still can. You're watching this right now, probably on your lunch break, or late at night after everyone's asleep, or on your commute while you think about all the things you need to do tomorrow. And I'm asking you, what are you running toward, and who are you running away from? Because I ran for 60 years, and when I finally stopped, I realized I'd been running in circles the entire time. The thing I was chasing, significance, legacy, proof that I mattered, it was already sitting at my dinner table every night. I just never looked up from my phone long enough to see it. So, let me ask you this. If you dropped dead tomorrow, would the people you love feel relieved or devastated? Would your funeral be full of people who miss you, or full of people who miss what you did for them? Would your kids cry because they lost you, or because they never really had you? I know my answer, and it's the only failure that actually matters. Don't let it be yours. If this hit you, if something in this story sounds like your life, do me a favor, leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to change. Not tomorrow, today. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's sacrificing their life for their career and calling it ambition. And if you found value in this, subscribe, because I'm using whatever time I have left to tell the truth. The stuff they don't teach you in business school. The stuff you only learn when it's too late, unless you're still early enough to listen. I hope you are.